Hey guys, it's Dave with the Big Rock Bend Reviews here. Got a new knife. Looking at the Rake Ruike Rake P128-SF. This is a very cool knife. Frame lock design, all steel handle, 14C28 steel blade. Very nice. Very comfortable handle, little flipper tab here to get it open. One interesting thing about this knife, it does not have a secondary opening method, so it is just a straight flipper tab. No real issue with that. It's just a lot of knives I've seen with multiple ways to open it. This one only has one, so kind of keep that in mind. Um, Love the frame lock, this little button to keep it closed. Let me zoom in here and you can kind of see that lock over. Very solid, very secure. No wiggle or play on the blade when it's open like this, so nothing to worry about there. You can see that locking mechanism, and here you can see the 14C28N on the blade there. Um, cool blade design too. This is a harpoon blade design. It's got that cutout on the back here, which is pretty neat. Gives it a very aggressive tip that is reinforced, so very cool there. One very interesting thing about this knife is the handle with the facets and that frame lock. When you grip it, the tighter you hold it, the more that frame lock locks the blade in place, so it makes it more secure. I know with some designs you kind of have to worry about it slipping, but not this. Very tight lock up there. The handle facets are very comfortable, fills up your hand nicely, but is very comfortable in the hand when you're using it. I've only had this about 5 or 6 days, but no hot spots or anything. Very cool, this backspacer here, where it closes that gap on the back of the knife a little bit. So when you're gripping it, you don't have that pinch factor. I ran into that with the Sin-Cut Saxy. The backspace was a little wide, and the harder you gripped it, the more it would pinch into the meat of your hands. And with that backspacer on this one, it kind of takes care of that problem, which is nice. When you're closing it, you can use your thumb to push the frame lock out of the way, and then make sure you get your fingers out of that blade path because that blade is super sharp. One piece of advice on this flipper tab, don't point your finger down while you're opening it. I did that when I first got it, and it kind of chewed the end of my finger up because the corners on that open space and on the back are fairly sharp, and if your fingernail catches on that, it'll chew that up and hurt pretty bad. But if you do it kind of like a light switch with the meat of your finger on that flipper tab and just pull it back, it opens. Very nice, very snappy action, and a very solid lockup. So very cool there. The pocket clip here, very tight pocket clip, sits decently well in the pocket. You have a little bit that sticks up, but I'm not necessarily opposed to that. It gives you something to grab onto if you need to get that out of your pocket on the quicker side. So all in all, very cool looking knife. I'm gonna get an initial cut test done. Let's see. Here we go. Got the cutting board out. We'll start with our thin paracord type rope and see how this does. I don't anticipate any problems with this one. And you'll see, yep, right through there. Very clean cut, very smooth edges, no issues. Like I said, the blade on this is super sharp, so this is not surprising. And the finish is like this satin smooth finish on it, very low friction finish, which is nice. I have noticed some blades that have like a color coating on it can kind of slow it down, add friction to it in the cut, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But with this one, it's getting right through there. So here's a little bit thicker rope. This would be like a climbing rope style, same kind of polyesterish material, but again, no issues. Very clean edges, very straight cut, nothing tearing, nothing pulling. It just cuts right through there. And if you're going to do cut tests like this, make sure you have a clear field, because sometimes when the knives do kind of zip through the material, you want to make sure there's nothing around you that might get injured or damaged. But here you can see the edges on that cut. Very clean, very even. Now we're going to do a harder braided nylon rope. And in all honesty, this has been one of the harder targets in my normal cutting routine. There are some knives that have struggled with this one. Um, Kind of surprised me a little bit, but the fibers on this are very stiff, very tough. But even with that, you can see this rake just cuts right through there. You do have to work it a little bit, but the edges are super clean, no tears, no pulls. So it is a very good cutting knife. You'll see second cut here, and it just right through it. It is a little bit tougher holding onto this rope to cut it, but I think part of that's because the rope was a little short on this one, so I didn't have much to grip. but even with that, you can see with 2 pulls just cuts right through it. So very good cuts there. Um, very impressed. And now we've got some manila fiber rope. I don't think this is going to be an issue either. And sure enough, it cuts right through. So very good cutting knife, very good edge on this thing. The grind is very flat from the back of the blade all the way down. So it feels like it's going to hold an edge very well. You see holding the target here, just zips right through there. So super excited about this knife. Like I said, I've only had it about 5 or 6 days. Really looking forward to getting it in the pocket and carrying it a little bit, seeing how it feels. Um, we'll show you some paper slicing here so you can see that edge is still very smooth. No burrs, no rolls, no nicks, nothing. Just glides right through that paper. So yeah, this is a very cool looking knife, very cool feeling knife, and so far it has been a really good performer. This is the first knife I've had from Rake, and my brain keeps wanting to say Rike. So if I slip up and say that, just know it's supposed to be pronounced Rake. That spelling gets me a little bit though. And you can see no scratches on the finish, no damage on the edge. Very strong, very clean cutting performance. Um, yeah, I'm super excited to get this one in the pocket and carry it a little bit, see how it does in the field. But so far, for the money, very impressed with that knife. 2 thumbs up.